Okay, thought of one more thing we're going to need. When we hold down a key to run or to crouch or even to jump, we're going to have some variable that keeps track of the fact that that key is still being held down or you've let it go. And you're not really going to be holding multiple keys down at the same time. Well, crud, maybe you will. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay. I wanted to just have one. But let's say left key, right key, down key, and up key. We might have more later, whatever. 0 equals it's up, which means it's not being clicked on, and 1 equals that they're holding it down. Held down. Okay. So we'll put these into. It's too bad. Didn't want to have to go that route. I had a different way I was thinking about doing it, but it's not really going to work. So let's try it this way. I mean, there's always like 10 ways to do everything. So this should work too. Alright. What we need to do... Now if we run it, of course, the guy still doesn't do anything. We need a timer. Definitely need a timer. Let's set our interval to like 30. I don't know. That's 30 milliseconds. And then what do we need to do? I'm going to just try animating this guy to start off with. I'm going to say his action is 1. Okay, so where are we at here? I'm just gonna put code in just to animate the guy. I just want to get some of these things out of the way. So it'll look like we have something to show for what we've done so far. Because I'm about ready to. I think this is going to be the last video I do today. I'll probably pick up more next time I get a chance to sit down. So we say if action equals 1, then I'm just going to put a block if in here. We could say what do I want to do? At some point I've got to increment the animation. So his animation doesn't change if he's doing certain things though. Like if he's crouching, his animation doesn't change. Quite a few times his animation doesn't change. So you know what? I'm actually going to increment his animation inside of each action. That way sometimes it'll increment and sometimes it won't. So Annie equals Annie plus 1. If Annie equal... Oh, and then also that has the extra benefit of knowing when to loop the animation back to 0. So, you know what? Let's say if he's running, this would be animation of 0, 1, 2, 3. This is when we're done. So 4 takes us back to 0. So if animation equals 4, then animation equals 0. So we say... what was our shift? Is it A2? Yep. A2. Oh. If. What do we call this? If. Oh, yeah, direction. I'm just totally spaced out here for a second. If direction equals 2, or equals 1, so he's heading to the left, then A2 equals A2 minus. I'm just going to hard code stuff to start off with. Okay? So if D equals 2, so he's driving to the right, then A2 equals A2 plus 2. This is how many pixels he travels. It should probably be more. It's going to try to test this out. Well, let's see. How many animations? There's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 animations. So let's just say that one cycle through those animations is going to take him 1 tile. He'll go from 1 tile to the tile next to it. I'm just going to brainstorm, or I'm just guessing here to see how it looks. Based on how this looks, we might change things. But if that's the case, we know that they are 40 pixels wide, so that means he needs to move 10 pixels each time. So if that's the case, then let's see, what do we want to do? I need to put this stuff after it animates. So in other words, he has to be doing the action first. Hopefully that makes sense. Otherwise, when he first starts off, his animation value will always start off at 1. What I want to happen is when we tell him to do something different by pushing keys, if we want him to suddenly crouch or start running or stop running, I want to handle all that outside of the timer. We'll get that later. So if we assume that you just told him to start running, so action is equal to 1, we're going to set his animation equal to 0 when we do that. So his animation, we want to start off being equal to 0 when it does stuff, then we'll increment it afterwards. That way, when his animation is equal to 4, and this equals 0, we could do this. We can say, if the animation equals 4, then, I got to do a block if here. It does set his animation to 0. Then we can say if, oh, here we go. Yeah, if D equals 1, so he's going to the left, then A2 equals 0, so the shift is done. There's no more shifting. But his A, I'll do it in this order to make it make more sense, equals A minus 1, A2 equals 0. Let's do it this way. If D equals 2, so he's traveling to the right, and he's completed his cycle, then A equals A plus 1. This is very similar to how Pac-Man worked. A2 equals 0. So once you're there, don't shift anymore. And I think this is where we should say that the keys, if you're, what was it, left key, right key? So we say if D equals 1 and left key equals 0, then action equals 0. So what this is, if you're traveling in right or left, and the person has let go of that key, once you've hit your next tile, then you need to stop running. So now, of course, if the person is still holding the key down, these two lines of code would never happen. So it'll cycle back through and you'll continue to run. So that should work. Then, at the end of this stuff, which is down here, we need somewhere at the end, we need to call draw tile A and B, so where the guy is, and then we need to say if A2 is less than 0, then call draw tile A minus 1 B. In other words, if he shifted to the left at all, we need to draw that one. And if A2 is greater than 0, so he shifted to the right, then we need to call A plus 1 B. So in other words, these three lines of code are just to erase him wherever he's currently at. So we erase him first, and then we have to draw him. And drawing him, we just say call draw hero. Oh, I did something wrong. Alright, I totally skipped this. The logical order to do this: you erase, you move him, you draw him again in his new spot. So I almost messed that up big time. So hopefully that makes sense. The steps, the logical steps to doing this. Keep this in mind: erase them, move them, draw them again. So we got that down. How much time we got? 10 seconds, roughly. Oh, he just moved. Oh, because the key's not. I need to say that the key is being held down. Let's say the right key is being held down, and he takes off across the screen. It's not quite what we're looking for, but alright, let me save the video. I'm going to do another video because I'm right at. I want to at least get this animating working. Saving the video.